Alright, hello and welcome to the fastest ever Final Fantasy VII on PC. This is going to be the new Game Plus category without any FPS restrictions, which will mean that my gameplay will run a little bit faster or quite a lot faster outside of battles than normal. It's actually running like this by default, so it may look weird in the beginning, but I cannot change it. It's illegal for me to change it if I want to maintain in the free FPS category. But anyway, I'm going to be giving you detailed instructions on how to execute the speedrun yourself. You can do everything I do in the 30 FPS category as well, but if you think the game is running a little bit faster, don't worry, like it's all okay. It's just my PC runs like that. A few PCs, it's basically the worse your PC is, the faster your game will run with Final Fantasy VII. It's just a known thing. So I'm going to race against my old splits, the ones that I raced against before the new skips were found. So I will be getting pretty much all of the skips today. So this is almost the perfect run. I don't think this is going to get beaten in a while. I got extremely lucky. I did only one mistake in the speedrun, and I will cover everything and where I could potentially think that I could save time. Okay, so the first thing you want to do when you get control of Cloud is to enter the menu to speed up the settings for battles and text. So as soon as you can, you press triangle here, change the memory if you want, and active, and everything on the fastest. And the fixed thing is not necessary, but for me personally it's easier for me to see what I need to do in the battles if I have a fixed camera position. So here, if you are lucky, you are going to attack before one of these, but I was not lucky, so here you could potentially save a few seconds. So that was an average fight. And here I will perform a skip. More details on how to do this I will provide in the description below. So you walk until you have reached the corner there. So as soon as you have gotten to that screen, you walk. To be exact, you walk 8 to 9 steps, whatever you prefer. 9 is more safe, 8 is more greedy. It doesn't matter in the end if you don't walk too much later on as well. I won't be doing much step counting, but if you want to learn step counting, it's not going to be difficult if you watch this video. I will cover all of the sections. It's only 3 sections, I think, or 4 in the entire run. 3 of them will be before you even leave the first reactor, which is in the 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes. So you could practice this as much as you want until you feel comfortable. It's not difficult at all. And you don't have to do the skip that I did in the beginning to follow the step count as well. You just walk 8 to 9 steps anywhere you want on that screen if you didn't do that skip. So this is nothing spectacular. Here you want to walk 24 steps. 23 is enough, but I'm going to put 24 as a safety. It's alright to walk a little bit more than necessary, because if you don't walk enough steps, you are going to get an extra battle. So I grabbed the potion there. It's a little bit quicker because you have to grab it if you want to talk to Jessie later anyways. So I am going to force an encounter before Guard Scorpion to increase my hopes of getting a limit break. So I'm going to walk here the last couple of steps. So hopefully I could get Cloud's limit break up and walking the rest of the distance. You only need 2 steps. I walked like 4 steps there, which is too much, but it doesn't matter. You can walk between 2 to 4 steps. It's fine. But if you didn't walk 2 steps before the boss, you have to do the rest of the steps on your way back. So if you only did 1 step, you need to do another step or 2 when you leave this place. This screen doesn't count. This screen does not have any encounters. Okay, so here, if you're lucky, you can get a bolt off. You hold down and circle or confirm button, and he will automatically select the bolt. So I got a bolt in before he got his first turn, which is pretty rare. And this helped me a lot to speed up this battle. I don't want to put a split on Guard Scorpion because the battle that I got before Guard Scorpion, you can get it after Guard Scorpion as well. Normally you would get it afterwards, but it's more beneficial to get it before. Because you have a chance of getting the limit break. I didn't get the limit break here with Cloud, which is what you prefer to get. But this fight went magnificent. Either way, I deal a lot of damage with my bolts. And if you do deal more damage with bolts, you can attack Guard Scorpion while his tail is up instead of using bolt, but if he deals low damage you kinda need to use the bolt magic even when his tail is up. So look now, instead of using the bolt, which is slower, I'm going to attack him because I already got a bolt in before he even got his first turn. And also I'm dealing maxed out damage, pretty much. Highest magic stat with Cloud, or close to at least. So you do bolt first if Cloud has the limit break, otherwise you would have attacked if Barret has the limit break. So now I'm going to hold up and circle to get the Braver off before the next turn of Guard Scorpion, and this killed him early. This is a brilliant fight with Guard Scorpion. That couldn't have gone much better, so since I already walked 2 or more steps, I don't need to walk any steps at all here. I will just run out of here. And that's pretty much it. So you do all of your step counting before Guard Scorpion, and then there is only one more time you need to do it, and that's easy because it's in the Reno tower up to Reno, so before you face Reno you need to walk a few steps as well. So it doesn't matter where you get the encounters either, so don't worry about that. You can get them earlier or later than what you see in this video, it really doesn't matter. The only thing that matters now is that you get out, and it's funny, I saw that Jessie got glitched a little bit. The important thing is that you don't get another encounter here. If I'm not mistaken, I get 3 encounters in the entire first reactor. And why it's important is because the danger value will reset when we get to Wall Market, and we are going to reset our game at that point. So we want to leave here with as close to a battle as possible because we are going to skip it. So we were kinda close to getting a 4th battle, but we didn't, and we are going to reset the danger value later. And I forgot to split there, but definitely ahead by a few seconds compared to my old run. So it seems that it's not too important to do the glitch. It's a cool thing to do the glitch. skipping the naming of Cloud, but I think it only saved 5 seconds. So it's definitely not a big time loss if you want to not do it. The downside is that Barrett gets to start with level 1, I believe, if you do the naming skip that I did in the beginning. The only reason I did it was because it looks cool and saves a few seconds, but that's it. 5 seconds. It's up to you if you want to do that or not. Personally, it's really difficult for me, at least, to perform it consistently. So option number 2 here, every time. It doesn't need to be quick options either, like you can relax 1-2 seconds. It's not that bad if you take your time here. You won't lose any time here. And then there is a glitch that you can perform inside of this train ride here. I will try and explain the glitch while we go along here, but first we are going to have to go through some dialogue here. I will try to remember to split on the wall market properly because of my fail in the first reactor. So my wall market split is pretty good, but I didn't get the skip inside of this train, the train right here, which I will get in this one. I practiced all of these skips before I did the run this time, so I should have gotten all of them here. So you just mash until Jessie starts talking to you. So now you should be starting to get ready to hold the down. And then you need to slightly tap right. So I hold down, run down, and then tap right a few times. So that he goes to the right a little bit. Otherwise, if you just run straight down, I don't think it works to get to the next screen. So here you can do a skip. If you run all the way to the end, you check the legs of Cloud here. So here, take a print screen or whatever, and then you hold down and right and circle. So you're running down right and hold down circle. And then you mash 2 dialog boxes away, and then you run straight up, and when you hear the door open, then you press circle and you will get the skip. And when you come back, you skipped the sequence of when Jessie shows you something on the monitor. There are probably detailed guides as well online, and I will link to one in case you're interested in learning this more properly. There is also another option in this area to skip the Materia option. The Materia option is definitely faster, but if you want to play a hardcore challenge and just throw grenades, you can do that too, but it's probably gonna be slower by 2-3 minutes at least. The new strategies that I'm using in this route right now are ridiculous. It's probably impossible to get better boss battles than I did now. I think it is impossible unless you can skip the battles altogether. I won't give any spoilers to what I am doing, but here if you go out and back in, you skip a little bit of animation if you try to get to 7th heaven bar early. You will have to go through more animation or something like that. You can skip that if you go out and inside again. You don't have to name Tifa like shorter name or anything. It's just we don't even use her in the run, to be honest, so don't worry about it. seconds. Now we need to go downstairs and talk to Barrett. And if you want to watch this video without me talking, I will have a link to that one as well. Because some people prefer not to be having someone talking in the video, which I understand. Some people just want to see the video without interruption. So it doesn't really matter much. Here I hold down and right to get here. You would think that holding right would give me the running direction as you saw there, but holding down and right is the fastest way to get to the cutscene here, and then you just select any option. This first one is probably faster. Honestly, I have no idea, but I think it is. So there is a much faster way of transferring materials if you have safe files in Northern Cave. You can do it on the world map. There is one benefit of doing it in the world map. You will have more favorable battles. You won't get many, but you will have, I think, 3 battles in the Shinra building, and the last one will be pretty bad. It's going to be a back attack. At least if you do my way. If you don't do my way, you're gonna get a good battle. You're gonna get a solo dog or something like that as the final battle. But I get ambushed. But the plus side is that it's slightly faster. Not by much, but a few seconds. So I will bring 4 Materias in this speedrun. I can already tell in advance that I could have saved 30 seconds if I got a little bit luckier and if I didn't do a mistake. I did only one mistake in this speedrun in the Shinra building, which I will cover later when we get there. But this can be, in theory, under 1:15, but it's going to require ridiculous luck to get that to happen. Already what I got here is ridiculous. Everything was perfect except for my failure. So here you do this skip to get to Wall Market early, and it's probably too difficult for me to explain what I'm doing, so I will link to a guide for that one as well in the description. And here I split, so a little bit late there, but it seems like I'm at least 17 seconds ahead of my old time reaching Wall Market. It's mostly thanks to the Jessie Skip in the train, the monitor skip thing. So here I am going to save my game in order to start glitching. So I'm going to load a save file in Northern Cave. All you do is you go down to the bottom of this exchange menu, and then you go and suicide. And then you're going to load your save file with materials that you want to transfer, preferably in Northern Cave as well. If not, you can do this with Solon. So you do that pretty much. You transfer 2 materials at a time. And now you load up the save file that you want to transfer them to, which is the new game file that we just created in Wall Market. So now we can just dump them in the Materia section there. Save one more time because we're going to transfer 2 more Materias. I will explain which ones that I am transferring as well. So once again you go to the bottom to trigger a hidden slot. So you can smuggle over some materia to your file. Any file that you want. Exactly the same as the first time, but 2 different materials. So the materials I chose was sneak attack combined with throw materia, which will throw gil. And then I got the seal materia as well to sell it right now. So look at this, this is important. You buy 1 mithril armlet, then you sell restore and seal. Then you go and equip mithril armlet. Remove the materials you smuggled, throw and sneak attack, and then enemy away. That's it. That is it. So you sell the seal materia. You don't have to sell the restore, but it's just a little bit faster later when you do the menu to equip the materials that you want. So it's interesting because sneak attack combined with throw will throw exactly the amount of gil necessary to kill a boss or an enemy. So it pre-calculates how much you need to throw, which is definitely faster than manually selecting how much you want to throw, because it wants you to throw everything you have, which is slower. So I'm going to get all of the necessary things here in order to make sure that Cloud gets picked here. So this guy wants me to get something from the inn, and while we are on our way there we're gonna go and pick up something here as well. Just make sure you can select any dish that you want here, doesn't matter, as long as you say that you enjoyed the meal. It was alright. And then you get something, the pharmacy coupon. So you're gonna trade it for an item here. So 3 text boxes here, and then you select the 3rd option. Then you sleep here, and then you pick up the 200 gil item. This is for the Materia shopkeeper. He's going to give us, I think he's the one who gives us the diamond tiara. So you go back, give him the item. And after this I will be performing a glitch that I like to call the toilet girl glitch. So you go here, you are going to give her the digestive at the same time as you're selecting clothes, so you see she's not feeling so well. So now I activate the door there, and then talk to the guy there, and then I spam here until I gave her the medicine, and then 2 times option number 2, and then I get out of there and press circle once I've left. Very difficult skip, to be honest, but I will give you a link to that if someone have it explained. It's a little bit easier for PC users. You can't do it the way I did it here if you are playing on console. It's not possible to mesh while you're screen transferring on console versions. but it makes it a little bit easier for some skips on the PC version. So because of our speed, we're able to get more squats than normally. Normally I think 21 or maybe 22 is reachable as the max, but I think you can get 25 or 26. I don't know if anyone has ever gotten 26, but 25 is definitely possible, and I think I'm getting that this run. This is much easier with higher frames because the guy is messing up a lot more than normal. He performed extremely bad in this competition. So now we are ready for our transformation and enter the Corneo mansion. So for me personally, I like to gamble, so I'm rolling with ATB active for the entire run. You're going to see why in a few minutes when we're approaching apps. So once he leaves, Aeris will say one text box and then you move, so don't spam there. If you talk too many times or mash too many times, you're going to accidentally talk to her one more time. And I just run straight to the left there to activate this cutscene. So you don't need to pick up anything for this route. You won't even spend mana, and hopefully you don't lose any HP, not that I think it even matters if you do lose HP. I didn't need to heal a single time in this speedrun. So just get through all of the sections as quickly as possible. If you did everything right, Cloud will be the one who will be chosen by Don Corneo, and that's what you're aiming for. If you don't get that, you should reset your game. So I can tell you while we're waiting for apps to arrive that you have a choice in the headquarters. If you're running with a higher frame rate than 30, you should be taking the stairs. If you are playing on low frame rates, you should be taking the elevator for a chance to save a lot of time. If you're super lucky, you could save probably a minute. That all depends on if you run into that guy on a few floors. So here I did a mistake, a small one. You should have chosen option number 2 every time you get an option from this guy, but I was too quick, so I had to go through one extra dialogue with him. Not a big time loss at all. So when he asks you a question that you are going to answer, you can mash down and confirm button as fast as you can. Here, down and confirm, and you will get the option 2 there without losing any time. I do think it saves a few frames, nothing major at all. It's not even something you need to do. I just like to choose the right option. So almost at apps now, and we're going to save a lot of time because of the new strategies. We're going to save a lot of time everywhere, to be honest. And I will be getting a preemptive, but it's not necessary, so don't worry if you don't get a preemptive. This is going to be the first time you see what my strategy is all about. I talked to Tifa first and Aeris second. You can do it reverse if you want, but you won't get the preemptive that way. So you see I get a preemptive here, so yeah, I don't even need to do anything, he just dies. I don't know how I could save 2 minutes in one market, but that is amazing how much time I could save compared to my old runs. So yeah, as I said, even if I didn't get a preemptive, the fight would have been exactly the same. As long as he throws the gill, which is not guaranteed. It's 80% chance and 20% chance to fail. And if you do happen to fail your throw, then you have to manually throw your gill, which is gonna take you a few seconds extra. Not too bad, but you know, it's a time loss regardless. So you should be able to get through the entire area here thanks to our reset in Wall Market. I got stuck a little bit, probably could have gotten through here 1 second faster or something like that. But to be honest, most of the run was perfect, so I'm not going to complain. So this is going to be the last time that you are going to do step count manipulation. If you don't do this, you will get an extra encounter somewhere. But to be honest, it's super simple. So anytime you want, basically anytime after the first encounter, but the only rule is you need to get to the second floor, okay? You get a fight, run away or coin toss, whatever happens. This is why I'm so lucky I didn't get a coin cost there. Here I walk 14 steps. If you don't want to count, you just look when I start to run there. So I basically do 2 passes or whatever you want, stair passes, and then you start running. If you do that, you don't even need to count. Get to the second screen, walk up and then to the left. If you want a tip from me, you can walk up and then left until the dead end, and then you start running down and right. So here, if you're lucky, 80% chance you're gonna coin toss again. We'll kill him instantly, no pyramid necessary to be viewed. And that's the battle. Interestingly, I was on the same pace as my old run, which I'm wondering how that's even possible. I must have had a ridiculously good fight. I think I killed him before he got a turn as well, to be honest, last time. I did use break in my old route, which is the fastest spell to throw. And if you have ATB on wait, you can use the break materia before he gets a turn if you are lucky. So here you just spam talk to Barret while the camera is up in the air. Then just stand close to Barret and spam circle. I don't even know if that's necessary, but that's how I do it to activate this. So there's going to be a long cutscene here and a lot of tanking. So this is probably the only time you can take a break in this run. Probably a minute of cutscenes. So I'll just say it one more time. If you don't happen to get the automatic coin throw, then don't worry, you just do it manually. You throw basically one extra digit. If it's 1000 HP, you throw 10,000 gil. 2000 HP, 20,000 gil. For the most part you throw either 10,000, 20,000 or 30,000. I think the only one you throw 30k for is the motorball battle. I think he's the only one that has above 2000 HP. If there are two enemies, you need to account for both of their HP. Rufus, for instance, has 500 HP. So you need to throw 10,500 for each. And if you do happen to take the elevator, you could be super lucky by getting the coin throw every single time you are in the elevator, which should make you speed up the battles quite significantly. So now you just try to get through this maze without getting stuck too much. This is a really difficult place if you are a new player. Once you get to this screen here, you hold up and right and you enter Aeris' house. Here you just need to spam confirm for like 2-3 minutes. I will take a short break here. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'm back. Let's see, so yeah, you run back to Wall Market here. You shouldn't be getting any battles at all until you are in the Shinra headquarters. So an important step, which I guess many people forget sometimes, even me, you go and buy the batteries here before you go to that secret area. So make sure you do this step. And then you can cut through those two last people if you are fast enough to go up and right. So it's a little bit tricky as well to navigate in the upper levels here. So I'm going to try and give you some directional hints of how to get through here. So I will always be holding down the run button for these directions, okay? So whatever direction I'm telling you, hold up here until he jumps automatically, hold down and now right, and then hold down after that jump. Because if you don't do that, you are gonna have a hard time activating that battery. For some reason he has a tough time if he's a little bit more to the right. Hold straight up here until the second jump there, and then you hold left, and now after you hold up and left here, up and left still, and hold up here until you want to jump. You spam 2 times, 1, 2, and then boom, when you hear the sound. As long as you hear the sound, you have the momentum to press. So as soon as you hear the sound, or you know that the sound is going to show up, it's always at the same place visually as well. So now if you play 30 FPS category, that's the only place where it will be different. If you play 30 FPS category, you would want to select ATB weight for this portion. For the entire Shinra headquarters, you would want to select ATB weight. It's going to save you time for those times when you will miss your coin throw. You don't need to have ATB active for the rest of the game, so 30 FPS, you go straight up and you activate ATB weight. You could have done it earlier as well. I would have done it before apps, meaning in the wall market section. And ATB weight would have helped you a lot for those times when you will miss, because it's pretty much unrealistic that you are going to get the coin toss throughout the entire run, especially if you take the elevator. So yeah, that's why I'm taking the stairs, higher FPS here. Also safe route. You can do this in 30 FPS if you want. It's gonna give you a nice time to race against. You will always have the same split time here, as long as you run properly. But if you do want the fastest time possible, you are gonna want to use the elevator, but only if you play 30 FPS. Otherwise, high FPS players just keep doing the stair strategy, it's faster. And there will be an elixir on the ground, which you can obviously skip. We don't need any items in this run. So I'm not even bothering to pick it up whenever it shows up. A little bit of a mistake there. So here you see the elixir, I just skip it. Even if you are playing high FPS, I would still recommend to use ATB weight even if you take the stairs. It's up to you. This run that you're seeing now, as I mentioned, is ridiculously good in the RNG section. It was exactly what I wanted to achieve. The thing is, I'll give you an example. For instance, the mighty grunts. Do you want all three of them to attack you? Or do you want only one of them to attack you? In case he fails. Because all three will attack you if you have ATB active. So your only bet if you are rolling with ATB active is that you gamble that you get through every single fight. Especially multi-enemy battles. For single battles it doesn't matter, you can have ATB active, but this one would be a big time loss in case I didn't get this skip. And that's the split, saving a lot of time because of the quicker battle. Sneak attack is definitely a big time saver regardless of what materia you have. My first idea was to combine it with Ultima there, and that would have worked fine. I would have had Contain Materia and Ultima Materia and swap it between multi-enemy battles, and here I did a big mistake. Or not a very big one, but you see, I pressed the wrong button, and I'm thankful I didn't engage one of the guards. That would have been terrible. So I did a mistake, but not as big as I first mentioned, but there will be a bigger mistake coming up later on, which I'm a little bit disappointed about, because I was so nervous. The run was so good up until this point, pretty much as perfect as I could wish for, at least. You can always grind until you get everything perfect, but it's gonna take you a long time. We're talking many months of grinding for just a few more seconds. So it went smooth here. And now comes another part where I'm ridiculously lucky. There are obviously setups to check what the password will be on floor 62. I just don't use any of those guidelines. I'm just going to guess the password, since it can be 1 out of 4. So I'll just select one at a time until I get it, and I got it on the first try. And that's just pure luck, nothing more to it. So the mistake that I did in the previous floor could have pretty much been neglected by that RNG right there. And there are different ways to do this floor, so if you grab the chests in another order, don't worry about it. And here, if you're lucky, 20% chance you don't throw anything, which you saw right there, which is ridiculous. Every random encounter so far, I haven't thrown a single coin at the random encounters. And that's why I'm telling you that I had ridiculous RNG. There should only be one more encounter in the Shinra building from now on. So this is where I did my biggest mistake in the entire run. I have never done this mistake before, but everything was perfect. I was thinking about how the hell did I get through every random encounter so far without an accidental coin toss. I skipped the chest there. I didn't understand why I couldn't go through the door, so I thought, oh, maybe the other door. And then I was like, no, wait, I didn't grab this. Probably someone could time how much time loss that was, but probably 15 seconds or more. So that definitely cost me the chance of sub 115. But it wouldn't have been enough even if I did play that part correctly. And we will find out later why that wouldn't have been enough anyway for the sub 115. But sub 115 is absolutely possible, but how many weeks of grinding would that entail for me to get the same RNG, running with ATB active throughout the entire run, not throwing coins on the random encounters, which is only a 20% chance to happen on every single encounter, and then to get the coin toss on the boss battles, every single one of them. That's the kind of RNG you're going to battle against. So I was a little bit disappointed that my pretty much perfect run up until that point got a bit of a time loss because of something stupid that I've never done in my entire life. I don't know how I could be so blind to miss that chest, but I was definitely thinking about something else while I was running. Luckily that girl didn't block me. Sometimes she can be in the way. And you shouldn't have to worry about any encounter at all. The next encounter will happen on floor 69, and that will be on your way to the top of the Shinra building. So you see, my step count route is ridiculous as well. I already used this one, exact same one in the old one, but I didn't have the starting with the glitch routed out back then. I deemed the naming skip to be a little bit too difficult at the time. And it only saves 5 seconds. About there. And this is probably the first time we ever see sub 1 hour sample battle. So when you get to name Red, it doesn't matter, same as Tifa, don't bother renaming him. Just let his default name be. And you will also have an option to select if Barret or Tifa will be in your party. It doesn't matter, of course, so just select the first option, which will be Barret in the party. If you're a Tifa fan, then select option number 2. Won't matter, except that you probably lose a few frames selecting the second option. And now hoping for a coin toss, because this is one hell of a battle if you don't get it. Well, that's definitely sub 1 hour. So I'm guessing with the best of the best pace you would have gotten 58 there. Without any mistakes. So now you go to the elevator on floor 66 and you will automatically get ambushed here. So a guideline, this section when you wake up, you can save a few seconds if you know what you are going to do in advance. So just mash here until President Shinra is alone on the screen. Then you need to start paying attention. I'll tell you exactly how to get through the next section of the game without losing time. So now he's alone on the screen. So after the last text box, like now, hold up and mash circle. Hold up. Oh no, sorry, don't mash. You're gonna select option number 3, but you're gonna run up to the door to trigger the option box before you even get to see anything on the screen. It's the second time that you just mash, so I apologize if I scammed you there, but option number 3, run up to the door. So here is another way where you can automatically get option number 3 selected without actually selecting option number 3. The only condition is you need to not be too close to the door. So look at where I'm standing, and then you up and circle. You saw it was already on the 3rd option, but if you stand closer to the door, it won't be. You can stand as far away as you want, but just not too close. And if you stand on that line that you see on the floor, that's definitely enough. Talk to the guard, talk to Tifa. And then you talk to Tifa. And then Barret or Red, doesn't matter. I will be talking with Barret, but it's just because whoever is closest. If you're lucky, you can get a glitch here which saves you like 3-4 seconds or more. No, actually you can save 6 seconds here. Because you can... I was paralyzed there while the dialogue with Barret was going on. You could have skipped that. The paralyzed thing. You could have actually talked to the girls while Barret was still talking. I don't know exactly how to trigger it. I'm guessing you talk to both Red and Barret at the same time or something like that. So here is the bad part about doing the northern cave. You're gonna get a back attack, and I didn't coin toss here. So that's my luck. I didn't coin toss on a single random encounter, and that's ridiculous. It's 20% chance times many times. Okay, so here exchange Red to Cloud. Everything Cloud has shall go to Red. And that's that section there. So you need to do it on this floor when you reach the last floor. So now Red has exactly the same setup as Cloud had before. So now you don't have to worry about anything. This is definitely the fastest way you can beat this game. Even if I made mistakes, I had the RNG of a lifetime behind me, covering every mistake that I did by favoring me RNG-wise. I just wish I didn't do the tiny mistakes. Maybe I would have had the sub 115, which would definitely be the dream. Maybe I'll try to go for it, but I cannot promise that I will ever beat this time, but we will see. Maybe I'll try a few more times someday. Not this year, that's for sure, but sometime later down the road. So here it doesn't really matter what option you will select. Normally they ask you if you want to remove the items or materia from Tifa and Cloud. You get a slight lag when you press the remove, but just like a frame or two or something like that. But I think option number 2 would have been faster if you can select it faster than the lag. So if you're lucky, you're gonna coin toss after this barrier breaks. and of course with my RNG I did get it. And then you throw 10,000, so I would have thrown 20,000 if I didn't get that to happen. So that was practically a free kill, and you can't avoid this first attack from this guy. So unfortunately you will have to watch the first attack and pray that he doesn't sleep red, and if red gets the sleep status, you can attack with Barret or Aeris. So that was perfect battle. And now mash triangle here. Triangle, go to the Materia menu, and you do an exchange again from X-Soldier to red. And I did a mistake here. I should have removed the enemy lure, or enemy away. The enemy away no longer needs to be equipped. I was just too worried about losing time, so I forgot to remove it. So I'm gonna lose time later, because I have to remove it on the world map instead. So just this Rufus fight saved me 18 seconds. So that just shows how much time you can actually save in one single battle. So if you made the same mistake as me by not removing the enemy away, you really don't need it anymore. You're not gonna get a battle, I can promise you that. It's super safe. So that was the last moment you could have gotten a battle at all, and you wouldn't have gotten it even without the enemy away. In fact, you could even use enemy lore during that last distance and you wouldn't even get the encounter. That's how safe that path is. So there will be the most interesting minigame you have ever seen, probably. I don't think anyone else have ever done this, at least not in a serious speedrun at a world record pace. Without any spoilers, I'll just let you observe what I'm doing in this minigame. You don't need to do anything regarding Materias, just start as quickly as possible. So I'm just mashing the start button here to make sure that the minigame starts as quickly as possible. The party members you have doesn't matter. The only thing you need to do is to make sure that Cloud doesn't lose a lot of HP. The other ones, it doesn't matter if they die or not. And grinding the edge, of course I got the worst. The blue bikes are the worst enemies because they sometimes attack Cloud and you don't want that to happen. So you will see that for a brief second I will be in the middle lane and you will see that it's gonna start lagging, like FPS drops or something like that, and you wanna avoid that. That's why grinding the corners are faster. But I'm just unlucky that I got the worst enemies for this minigame. The red bikes would have been fine, the yellow ones probably also would have been fine, but not the blue ones. Because you will have to move from side to side if you get the blue ones. I think you're safe as long as Cloud has above 80% health. You have to account for a critical to be able to happen on you, in case you don't get the coin toss. It's interesting. This run I will kill Sephiroth in 5 minutes from now. How do I do that? How is it possible? I've barely made it out of Midgar, so what is my strategy? So, if you have paid attention to the run, on every random encounter I have not thrown Gil, which is faster, and on every single boss battle or mini battle that I'm forced to win, I got the coin toss on every single one. And that means perfect RNG. So that was the perfect Midgar, unless I wouldn't have done mistakes myself as a human. The RNG was impeccable. Absolutely perfect. Couldn't have been any better. First guess password. Perfect battles in every regard. Okay, so you wanna get the glitch here. I miss it once, but I get it on the second try. So if you don't see Barrett move, no, he moved. So then you select option number 2 and get out on the world map. I'm gonna save here. Oh, I removed the enemy away, which I should have done on the Rufus menu, but I forgot it. I was too quick. So now I'm going to reload that save file out of Midgar and save one more time. This is super necessary, okay? Trust me, you need to do this. Now I'm going to load a save file, which is going to teleport me to the flashback Nibelheim. You can use any save file where you have the high wind to do this, okay? So I have high wind, this is a legit disk 3 save file. What you do is you win any random encounter on the world map, anything you want. It can be on the beach, it can be on land, doesn't matter. You win it, you will warp to the old flashback of Nibelheim and you will get out of there, fly the high wind and land here and get a battle with the 1 flap beat and 3 Spencers. I didn't get it. This is the second time I lose time in the speedrun. The first was missing the chest in floor 65, which was just stupid. And this was the second thing. I could have gotten this on the first, which could have given me the sub 115. So I throw the Vagarisk Claw to petrify myself. And that's it. I reload the Midgar save file. And you can get any battle again on the beach if you want, it doesn't matter. Or on land. I will personally just get it on land, doesn't matter. Whatever you want. You're gonna coin toss anyway, so the battle length will be exactly the same. And once again, struck by perfect RNG. And that's it, and I'm getting to the debug room now. And then last 4-0, hold down R1 here. Hold down R1 until you see here. You can stop holding down R1. R1 is the button which goes down in menus. If you want to scroll down an entire window, that's the button you need to hold down. So that's the faster way of getting to the debug room. It saves 11 minutes compared to beating Palmer and doing that old strategy. And then you also skip killing the bosses because you held down R1. And since we pretty much skipped a portion of the game. We don't have Omni Slash here. So what does that mean? It means we have Braver. Okay, so I guess it was 28. A high 28. And that is the fastest speedrun we will probably ever see, with the perfect RNG everywhere, except for the world map, which was second try.